On the night of November 22, 2019, at around 8 p.m., a doorbell camera in Harriet Creek Ranch, Texas, recorded a young girl approaching the front door. She was holding a flashlight, visibly terrified, and kept glancing behind her as if someone might be following her. In a shaking voice, she pleaded, "Please, help me." Unfortunately, the house she came to was empty. The family was away on vacation and no one was there to answer the door. Realizing no help was coming, the girl became even more panicked and continued knocking desperately, begging for someone to open the door. By the time the homeowners saw the footage, it was already too late. The girl had vanished, and there was no trace of her anywhere in the neighborhood. No one knew who she was or what had driven her to that doorstep in such fear that night. The homeowners didn't recognize her, and she wasn't familiar to any of the nearby families either. They immediately contacted the police and shared the video online, hoping someone would come forward with information. But sadly, even after 6 years, no one has been able to identify the girl. One theory online suggested she may have been used as bait by criminals, a tactic where a frightened woman or child is sent to the door to make the homeowner open it, only for hidden accomplices to break in. But the girl's genuine terror and desperate voice didn't seem like something a child could fake. A more heartbreaking theory was that the girl might have been Serenity Dennard, a missing 9-year-old from the same year. Serenity struggled with emotional disorders and often tried to run away. She had been placed in a children's treatment facility, but managed to escape. A massive search involving over 200 people took place, yet not a single clue was found. Some believed she got lost in the woods and died of cold exposure, although the possibility of abduction was never dismissed. When the doorbell footage surfaced, many believed Serenity had been kidnapped, and that she had finally escaped and run for help. Although Serenity's parents claimed the girl in the video wasn't her, many people online still believe otherwise. In the end, search efforts for Serenity were called off, and the young girl seen in the haunting doorbell footage was never identified. This chilling incident remains an unsolved mystery to this day. July 31, 2022, Sydney, Ohio. It was just before 11 a.m. when 22-year-old Allison Duckrow and her mother returned home after breakfast. As they were walking inside, an unfamiliar vehicle suddenly pulled into their driveway. Moments later, the driver got out and walked straight toward their front door. It was 22-year-old James Rail, Allison's ex-boyfriend. Allison and James had broken up over 1.5 years earlier and hadn't spoken since. The night before, he sent her an unsettling voice message saying he would be coming to see her the next day. Allison never replied and never agreed to meet him, but he showed up anyway. Seeing him through the live camera feed, Allison chose not to answer the door. After waiting a few minutes, James walked away, only to begin circling the house, searching for another way in. When he couldn't find one, he returned to the front door and attempted to force it open. As Allison and her family refused to respond, James became angry and tried harder to break inside. Fearing for their lives and with James refusing to stop, Allison's father had no option but to use his firearm, bringing the confrontation to an end within minutes. The family had already contacted the police, but no one could have predicted what was about to happen. Allison and her father were questioned, and on August 4, 2022, her father stood trial. Thanks to the doorbell camera footage clearly showing James's actions, he was found not guilty. His actions ruled as self-defense. January 18, 2025, Carrollton, North Texas. Late one evening, a homeowner received a doorbell alert while she was out shopping. When she checked the camera feed, she saw a strange man standing on her porch, dressed entirely in black and holding what appeared to be a box. As he stepped closer, it became clear he was wearing a red demonic goat mask. He rang the doorbell once, then silently walked away, leaving behind a sign that read, Revelation, chapter 20, verses 1 to 15. These verses reference the binding of Satan, the final judgment, and eternal punishment. making the encounter chilling and deeply unsettling. The terrified homeowner called the police, but because the stranger hadn't committed a direct crime, officers couldn't take action. Later, she admitted in an interview, "I'm scared. I'm scared to leave my house. I'm scared to stay in it." The story eventually faded from media attention, and no further updates were ever released. On July 21, 2023, two elderly women went to visit their friend, 58-year-old Sharon Gordon in Dudley, UK. They had been unable to contact her for several days. When they entered the house, they found her lying face down near the stairs, covered in blood. Police arrived quickly and confirmed it was a homicide. Investigators reviewed the doorbell footage, which showed the last person who visited Sharon's home, her contractor, Peter Norgrove. He claimed Sharon was still alive when he left, but the footage showed him walking away with blood on his trousers. Police also found the weapon in his shed, and he eventually confessed. Sharon had hired him to build an extension, but after 15 months of delays and poor quality work, she confronted him. Peter lost his temper and attacked her with a hammer. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison. On October 6, 2024, in Fresno, California, Christine Paul was watching TV while waiting for her husband to return home. Shortly after midnight, someone rang the doorbell. Thinking it was her husband, she opened the door, but found a strange woman with a crazed look. Christine quickly shut the door, but the woman became furious and tried to force it open. When she failed, she tried breaking in through a window. Christine armed herself and called the police. An officer arrived within minutes and de-escalated the situation. The woman, who had been acting erratically, suddenly calmed down when confronted by police and was taken into custody. Christine later said she was grateful the officer arrived just in time. On August 12, 2025, the Wilson family was asleep in their home in Midlothian, Texas. At around 1 a.m., 21-year-old Malia noticed a bright flash outside. She ran downstairs and saw their front yard engulfed in flames dangerously close to the house. She rushed to wake her father, who called the fire department. Firefighters arrived quickly and extinguished the flames before they could reach the home. The doorbell camera revealed that someone had poured gasoline around the house and set it on fire before running away. The suspect wore a hoodie and a mask, hiding their identity. The homeowner, Daryl Wilson, believed the attack was connected to a lawsuit he had filed against a former employer. However, police still hadn't caught the arsonist, leaving the family terrified that the attacker might return. In the early morning hours of March 11, 2025, a homeowner in North York, Pennsylvania, woke up after noticing strange movement on their porch. The camera footage showed a person wearing a colorful tie-dye cloak and a paper plate mask decorated with sharp teeth and red eyes. They carried a cardboard box, placed it on the doormat, and announced themselves as the Box Demon. A faint lullaby played in the background as they slowly walked away into the darkness. Fortunately, the box was empty. Some people online later suggested the figure resembled Dandy, a horror character from Roblox, though the motive remains unknown. In June 2023, the mother of Instagram model Gusty Genescate noticed something alarming in their doorbell footage. A strange man had followed Gusty home and was seen wandering around the house, peeking through windows and looking around the yard. Terrified, her mother called the police, but since he hadn't committed a crime yet, officers couldn't take action. Unable to sleep, Gusty set up a rope trap outside. A week later, the man returned around 2 a.m. and tripped over it. When Gusty checked the camera, she saw him standing right outside her bedroom window, staring inside. She woke her mother, who banged on the window and scared him away. Another woman in the neighborhood later reported seeing the same man. Even with a clear image of his face, police were unable to identify him, forcing Gusty and her mother to move. The stalker still remains unidentified. Late one night in a quiet Alexandria, Virginia neighborhood, a doorbell camera captured chilling footage. Three masked individuals in full Halloween costumes stood outside a home around 10 p.m. and refused to leave. At first, one of the residents, Shayla, thought it was just a prank and greeted them with, "Happy Halloween." But within seconds, the atmosphere shifted dramatically.